Hey, welcome to Temperature Check with Geoff. Our corporate frauds are getting dumber. Man, okay, I want to talk about this a bit because I think it is a comment on sort of this degrading societal sentience we have, this sort of absence of cognitive ability in the financial community and society actually writ large, that the corporate frauds have gotten consistently dumber year after year after year. And so there's a sense in which every corporate fraud requires an optical illusion in order to be successfully perpetrated. And the three that I want to talk about today are sort of the three that I've spent time thinking about in my adult life. Enron, Theranos, and the most recent alleged corporate fraud. We don't know if it is actually a fraud, but the SEC has alleged there's fraudulent activity with Nikola Motors. Let's start with Enron. So with Enron, the optical illusion required was just for the market to believe that the business was way too complicated for anyone to understand, so like no one should even try. So they had like all of these different business units. They had far-ranging products from like taking advantage of energy deregulation in California to like building power infrastructure in India. They had like tons of different weird financial instruments that they were pioneering. It was just a very complicated business in a very fast-changing market, which at the time was energy. It was going through a lot of change in the early 2000s. And long story short, Enron was able to perpetrate the corporate fraud because the media looked at it fawningly, like it was this hyper-growth company, gleaming office tower in downtown Houston, but no one could really understand what the business did. So that was their optical illusion. Oh, it's too complicated for you to understand. You're not as smart as us. And it took an intrepid journalist, Bethany McLean, to actually, I think, really unpack the fraud, and credit to her, because it was a highly sophisticated optical illusion. So really evil, bad fraud, or like, damaging fraud. I don't know what their motivations were, but it was a damaging fraud. But man, those Enron folks, they were smart. That was a nuanced, smart optical illusion and great investigative reportive work by the specific journalist who uncovered it. Fast forward to 2015, 2016, you have the alleged Theranos fraud, and quite frankly, I don't even know if that was a fraud. Certainly very different from Enron or different from Nikola most recently. The public was never involved in Theranos. Theranos was a private company, tightly controlled cap table by ultra high net worth individuals and a few institutions. But certainly, as with Enron, Silicon Valley investors like myself weren't invested really in Theranos, with one exception. We weren't invested in Enron, and we certainly weren't invested in Nikola unless it was to short the business. But nonetheless, the optical illusion with Theranos was far less sophisticated than Enron. It was simply it was the myth of the founder. So it was this mythical founder story where Elizabeth was made into this heroine by the media, and then the optical illusion was you'd have to sort of do a leap of scientific faith and ignore sort of what all of the scientific experts would say about the miniaturization, the claims made about the Edison machines, the blood testing machines being like too far-fetched to be true. You just ignore that and trust they had a secret laboratory with these secret machines and like this highly charismatic founder with these deep blue eyes and this very seductive persona about her. You should just trust what she had to say. So that was the optical illusion there. Dramatically more simplistic than the Enron optical illusion. Media fell for it hook, line, and sinker. I think most smart technologists in Silicon Valley were quite skeptical. I'm actually still skeptical of whether there was actually any real fraud as legally defined there. I don't know, and the case has not yet it's not yet gone to court as far as I'm aware. I think it's been postponed for another few months or something. So we'll see, but definitely less sophisticated than Enron. And then Nikola, there's just no optical illusion, okay? So Nikola, all you need to know about why that might be a very fraudulent enterprise would be you have the automaker story of the century with electric vehicles in Tesla. It's named Tesla, okay? Founded by Elon Musk, who's like one of the most mythical entrepreneurs ever. And then you've got this random Trevor Milton dude who names a company Nikola, which is the first name of Nikola Tesla. Okay, that in and of itself is enough to scream something might be awry. And then they've never shipped a car, and yet the company was valued at $30 billion in June. So that whole fact pattern, there was no optical illusion, that was just dumb.